Hello everybody and welcome back to the Mongooli Show. Today we're taking a look at dark promotional credits and dark diamond credits. Where do you get them, who do you spend them on, and who should you build up first? Let's get into the video. All right, before we get right into it, I want to just ask, if at any point in this video you find that you are enjoying yourself or that you are getting value from this, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, maybe even leave a comment just telling me what you liked about it. It really does help out this channel to get as much engagement as possible. All right, let's jump in. All right, so first off, I just want to go really quickly over what dark promotional credits even are. What we're looking at here is if you go to the Elite tab up at the top and you click on this first row, you can see that they are a black border with a red star on them. Those are dark promotional credits. Now, if you see up in the top corner here, these diamond promotional credits with the black border, those are dark diamond credits. I don't have any dark characters. I don't have any characters that I can buy with the dark diamond credits yet, so we're just gonna be looking at the dark promotional credits. Now, if you wanna see where you can get these, you can click on them and you'll see this find button appears. Now, be careful that you don't have enough credits to purchase what you're looking at, or else you will just buy that character. But because I can get to this screen, we can go to find and it'll show us all the locations we can get these credits from. So first up, we have the red star orbs. And if you click on those, you can actually unlock these. You'll probably only get one dark promotional credit per orb though, which is not very good. But these build up fairly quickly. You should get quite a few over time. And if we go back out, we can go to the orb button here, scroll down a little bit, and you can see that you can trade in your Elite 4s in order to get these, and you'll get 100 to 500 per opening. Now you are opening multiple orbs at the same time, so it's not like it's a great value. Like, this does take a while to build up to the 20,000 you need to open it, but you're gonna get 100 at a time minimum, potentially as many 500 at a time. So again, these build up over time. You're just gonna eventually get to the point where you're like, oh hey, I've got a couple of these I can open, and crack them open and see what you get. But this is not your main source. Now, another way that you can obviously do this is purchasing them. Now, none of these offers are all that great, I don't think. Like the one over here for $3 Canadian for 115, that's not bad, but like, it's not, 115 isn't going to really move the needle all that much, right? They're usually thrown in with other things. You can see you can buy some North Star shards here and get 250 in for 13 bucks. Like, again, not terrible considering right here you can get 200 for 13 bucks. I mean, the fact these two offers are beside each other is laughable to me, because why on earth would you ever buy this if this was an option? But whatever. Here you can see you can get 1,000 for $129, which is mind-boggling when we get to the next thing we're going to take a look at. But technically, if you want 1,000 credits right now and it's somehow worth 2 AAA video game titles for you to do that, then, you know, you do you. Now, here is the main source for a lot of us for how we're going to get these. If you go to the battle pass, you can see that there is a free track and a paid track. On the paid track, you're going to get 3,500 dark promotional credits, and on the free track, you're going to get about 250. Now, this is for this Cosmic Ghost Rider one that ends in about 6 hours, so they're not always the exact same, but they're usually really, really close. I say they're not all the exact same because we did have that one month where they gave us 4 red stars for Iron Zombie Man or something. Iron Zombie Man? Wow. For Zombie Iron Man. So this isn't always here, so make sure, like, go and look for it first before you buy the battle pass, just in case. But usually it is, and usually it's a pretty good offer. It'll give you about 3,750 if I was to speak English. Dark promotional credits for about 25 bucks. Which again makes this offer just laughable, that you get 1,000 for 130 versus 3,700 for $25. Now, admittedly, you do have to play the game in order to get this one, so maybe not playing the game is worth another $105 to you. But then why would you spend money on the game anyway? So I don't know. Next up, we have the Crucible season. Now, this one's a little bit of a lie because you're not going to get dark promotional credits like this, but you will get dark diamond credits like this. So if we go and take a look, it's not actually going to show us here. This is just the rankings for week to week. It doesn't give us the full month long, like the season long rewards. But depending on where you're at with the season rewards, you're going to get between 2,200 dark diamond credits and 5,000 dark diamond credits. So depending on how well you do in Cosmic Crucible, the more you can possibly earn. Which is why a lot of people like myself say Cosmic Crucible is a really good game mode and you should absolutely be trying to do your absolute best, because dark diamond credits are in short supply. So if that's the best way to get them, then that's what you should be working towards. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see there's also an incursion game modes that you can actually farm these at. The drop rates are not great, but the amount of them does get better the further in you get, up to a maximum of 25 per win. Now, when I say 25 per win, again, the drop rates suck. I just did like 10 battles or something and didn't get a single one. So if you get anything from this, you count yourself lucky. But technically, yes, you can farm them this way. All right, now first off, it's worth noting that there are 2 characters currently that use dark promotional credits, or will use dark promotional credits, that you cannot upgrade. I'm not able to show them on screen because one of them is Mephisto and I can't make a team with him because I don't have him unlocked, and quite frankly, I'm not going to for a very, very long time. So Mephisto and Old Man Logan will use dark promotional credits, but they don't yet. You can't do anything with them yet, but just keep that in mind because those are 2 of the best characters in the game. So when they do become available, you will want to level them up. Now, I'm not saying save now for something that's going to come out months from now. I would say build up the characters that you can use right now on a daily basis and get the most out of them that you can, but be aware that they are coming, and when they come, they will top this list almost guaranteed. Now, as far as the characters you're looking at on screen, these are the 4 characters that you cannot put dark diamonds on yet. You can get them up to 7 red stars, but that is as far as you can go. We'll talk about their value. I just wanted to point out you cannot put diamonds on these characters yet. All right, so who should you use your promotional credits on? Let's get right into that over here and take a look at my tier list. As where I know you can do tier lists on the internet, but I figured this be a little more visually interesting, hopefully. So we've got Black Knight, Apocalypse, and Super Skrull. Now, Black Knight and Super Skrull, you can't put diamonds on at the moment. You can only get them up to 7 red stars, and I don't have 7 red stars on Black Knight currently, even though he is my #1 pick. Now, the reason for that is simply because I don't have 7 yellow stars on his character yet. Once I get that 7th yellow star on him, though, I guarantee you he is going to be my top priority to get to 7 red stars. I might even, once I start getting close, just buy that 7th red star just so he's ready as soon as that 7th yellow star gets there. But he's still a little ways away for now. He's not farmable at the moment, so that's how that goes. Apocalypse, I actually rate over Super Skrull in this game. Now, people might think that I'm crazy in that, but Super Skrull has a hard counter in Black Knight, and pretty much everybody has Black Knight, whereas Apocalypse doesn't have quite as hard of a counter. Now, his star is starting to wane just a little bit, but he's still used every single Cosmic Crucible, every single war, and most importantly, every single arena. You don't see Super Skrull in every single arena game, at least not in the nodes that I'm playing against. Black Knight and Apocalypse every single time. Super Skrull maybe 75% of the time. Now, I realize that's still very high. That's why he makes the top echelon, but he's not quite at that top ranking. So this is the cream of the crop of what you can upgrade and what you should be putting them on. Black Knight, Apocalypse, Super Skrull. Again, once Mephisto and Old Man Logan come out, that will change this list up a little bit. But for right now, this is what I'm looking at. All right, so here's my secondary list. These are the ones that I think are incredibly strong and useful in multiple game modes. You've got Green Goblin Classic, Quicksilver, Black Cat, and Nova. Now, for Green Goblin Classic, he is incredibly strong in Cosmic Crucible and in War. He does see some arena play, albeit less than he used to, but I still think he's an incredibly strong character, and I think he's going to have a lot of longevity because of how good he is in Cosmic Crucible and War. I don't enjoy War that much. I love Cosmic Crucible. This was a no-brainer for me. I've got him up at 3 diamonds. I maybe should have left him at 2 diamonds and spread the wealth around a little bit, but I just love this character so much that I had to go for it. Quicksilver is a character that is extremely plug and play. You do occasionally see him in arena, although not very much, but his Cosmic Crucible and War usefulness is off the charts. He's so good as like just that 5th member you can just kind of put somewhere and just put that little bit of extra icing on the cake. I really like this guy. Now, admittedly, I don't have him at 7 red stars yet, and I do have Black Cat at 7 red stars, so people might be wondering why, but I think Quicksilver is still showing his youth, whereas Black Cat is starting to get a little bit long on the tooth. You don't see her in arena nearly as much as you used to, at least, again, not in the shards that I'm participating in. And her Cosmic Crucible use is good, her arena use is okay, her war use is okay. I see her falling off a little faster than Nova is, so even though mine is already at 7 red stars and my Nova's only at 5 red stars, if I could switch that over, I probably would. So I'm doing this for what I would build right now, not for what I have built in the past. Now, Nova makes this list because he just seems to be one of those characters that just keeps popping up again as a plug and play. His nowhere team isn't that strong. Even in war, they're fine. Pretty much he is the captain of that team. He is the only real member of that team that's really pulling his weight. So I do really like him in that, and I do actually have him in here because I found him incredibly useful in Dark Dimension 6. Now, I have not started Dark Dimension 7 yet. I'm not sure how good he's going to be in that, and I don't put a whole lot of weight in Dark Dimension when I make lists like this, because I'd rather value the stuff that I do every single day versus the stuff that I'm going to do twice and then never touch again. But I can't deny that he was very strong in Dark Dimension 6. He will probably have a home in Dark Dimension 7. He is really good in war. He is really good in Cosmic Crucible. He has no raid and no arena value. I've not seen him in an arena, I think, ever. Certainly not in a very, very long time. But I think that he's so good in Cosmic Crucible as a plug-and-play character that he's worth making this tier of the list. So for the next year, I've got a bunch of characters that I think are extremely good to have, very plug and play friendly, very useful, but just not that exciting anymore. We've got Dormammu, whose main thing is that he can make his characters revive, but unfortunately with so many characters coming out that can kill you dead or that take away revives, that's just not as strong as it used to be. So he's still an incredible character. He is at the top of this list, but this list is a little bit just a niche down from the one we were just talking about. Rogue is seeing a ton of play, especially with the Extreme X-Men. A lot of people are subbing her in onto that team, and that is phenomenal. She's really, really strong there. So while a little while ago I would have probably swapped her and Morgan Le Fay, as of right now, I think Rogue does show more value and probably will for the foreseeable future. She's a really, really strong member of that team. And if the X-Men ever get a boost, because she's got that tag, she's gonna just get that little boost with them. And because we know Professor Xavier is coming out down the road, I have to assume there's going to be an X-Men boost coming along with him. Doom lives in a really, really weird spot where he is an incredible character, but you kind of want him to take damage. So the problem is you need to find that sweet spot for your arena shard, or for your, not arena, sorry, for your Cosmic Crucible, where he's taking damage, but not dying. So once you can find that spot, you're pretty happy, but then hopefully you move up in the Cosmic Crucibles and you'll start having to leveling him up with you so that, again, he doesn't get one-shotted, because the whole point of him is you want him to take damage, survive, do his ultimate, and then you're good to go, and then you're probably laughing. So you can't have him be weak enough to die, but you can't have him be so strong that he laughs off the pain, right? So, like, this is a really weird sweet spot you have to find for this guy. I do really like Doom. I think he's still really got a strong home in this game, and I hope they give him some kind of a rework or a buff at some point down the road, because Dr. Doom is too cool of a character to have to fall into obscurity. Morgan Le Fay is finding homes that are not Darkhold. She hasn't found a super solid one yet that I've found, at least. She seems incredibly beatable wherever you put her, but she does seem to be finding more and more homes on defenses and stuff like that in Cosmic Crucible. So I did put her on this list relatively highly, because even though I'm not the biggest fan of her, I know that she has a home, and I know that you do see her on defenses and stuff like that, and the stronger she is, the better she's going to do for you. Now, Big Time Spider-Man is maybe kind of more of a personal pick. I just find him incredibly useful, whether he is giving off Disrupted or whether you have him on war defenses. Like the Infestation team, when you see a really, really big one, I still just look at it and go, I don't know what to do about this. Like, most people have that Infestation team really small because it's not a very good team outside of Big Time Spider-Man. And you're like, okay, I can crush this pretty easily. But when you run into a Big Time Spider-Man on war defense, especially this season with the Spider Hero characters getting a bonus, he's terrifying. Like, he's absolutely nutty. And he does get some good Cosmic Crucible attacks in. He can really do well against certain teams. And I do occasionally see him in Arena. Not that often anymore, but like up until like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was seeing him semi-regularly. And when I keep saying like in my Arena shards, like I am in the top 10 usually, sometimes in the top 20. I've been in the first place fairly recently. Like, I'm doing well in my Arena shard, so I'm not fighting for like 2000th place or something. No, I am in only like a 3-year-old Arena shard, so maybe not as high end as some of the people who've been playing this game for 5 or 6 years. But I mean, we're still going for first place, and I'm still seeing this guy around, so I put him a little bit higher. He is actually one of the characters I'm taking to Dark Dimension 7, and I know I said I wasn't going to put a whole lot of pressure on those characters, but he's one of the ones that I'm taking up, and if I'm taking up, I want him to be as strong as possible. So this is the home that I found for him on this list. All right, I did originally have this tier as 2 separate categories. That felt a little gratuitous, so I did just end up merging them together just to have more on screen at one time. But essentially, these are the kind of nice to have, but certainly not necessary characters. Now for Zombie Juggernaut, he's really good in war and he's finding a home in Cosmic Crucible, but you'll never see him in arena or a raid or anything like that. So you kind of have to gauge whether or not those are game modes that are worth it to you. I can't imagine anybody's taking him to Dark Dimension 7, but I could be wrong on that one. He does seem to be growing in popularity though, and we're only going to get stronger and stronger with him as hopefully he comes out at Halloween and you can get more shards on him. So I'm putting him on this list as a really nice to have, but he's super niche. Red Hulk, it hurts me to have him this low on this list. I would have loved to have put him higher. I absolutely love him. I think he's an incredible character. He's just not doing what he used to do anymore. He's just not as much of a powerhouse as he once was. I no longer fear him when I see him across the table from me, and I'm not bringing him on my side of the table nearly as often. So he does fall down into this category, unfortunately. I do still think he's a strong character. He just isn't the powerhouse he once was. Now, Ultron in this list is a little interesting because I would have put him down a lot lower like 3 weeks ago. But Benny Westside specifically, but a couple others have been really convincing me that he actually does have a home on Masters of Evil. And if you can build him up high enough and play the team properly, you don't need to have the APOC or the Super Skrull or whatever as that fifth character, freeing you up to use them somewhere else. Now, with the Extreme X-Men getting bigger and them getting all their 6 and 7 red stars and yellow stars, the Masters of Evil are struggling a bit more against that team. So we'll see whether or not that Ultron can actually live up to his potential. But I've heard a lot of people talking very highly about him recently, whereas he was kind of a joke character for like 2 years. So I am putting him here in this niche category. I'm not entirely convinced he's got a great home just yet, but I can't quite put him in the joke category anymore. Archangel has a job. He's okay. He doesn't really do it particularly well. It kind of hurts me to say that, as Archangel is one of my favorite characters in Marvel. I just think he's such a cool design, but unfortunately in this game he was really good for a little while, and if you need Apocalypse, great, but other than that, like, the Death Seed team is falling pretty fast, and that's really his best home. Now I have seen some people working with Apocalypse and the Horsemen in Cosmic Crucible. I haven't gone against that and I haven't tried that yet, but I've heard that that works relatively well. If that's the case, maybe his star will rise just a little bit more again, but right here, right now, I don't see the value in putting any red stars on this character, and certainly no diamonds on this character. All right, and for the last category, this is the don't spend resources on them category. Now, this is a little bit interesting because these characters are on opposite ends of the spectrum on purpose. I think Zombie Iron Man's actually a good character. The problem is you don't need him to be very strong. He doesn't need to be high levels. He really just needs to be on the battlefield most of the time. I mean, build him up in like levels, but don't spend a whole lot of money on red stars and stuff like that. He's got 4 red stars for me, literally because it was free in a battle pass. Other than that, he'd probably be at 1, maybe 2 red stars at absolute most, and that's where I would have stopped leveling him. He's a great character. You definitely want to run him with Hela. He does good things, especially in war, but even in this season of Cosmic Crucible, because he does have ways to kill characters so they can't come back. So in Room 5, where you've got villains that can come back from the dead, he works out quite well there. But he's kit based. He doesn't necessarily need to have a high star level, and certainly I wouldn't put diamonds on this character at this time. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got Ultimus. Now you can't see it here, but my Ultimus is level 1. I've done nothing with this character. Every now and then I'll say that and somebody will send me a screenshot of their 3 diamond level 100 G19 Ultimus, be like, he's amazing. No, he's not. You just spent resources poorly. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. You probably spend money on this game as well. You probably make bad life choices. You're welcome to do so. That's your choice, but I can't in any conscience tell people to build this character. Just no. All right, really quickly for the TLDR category, what we're talking about here is Black Knight in very first place with Apocalypse and Super Skrull right behind him. On the next tier down, we've got Green Goblin Classic, Quicksilver, Black Cat, and Nova. Just below that, we've got Dormammu, Rogue, Doom, Morgan Le Fay, and then big time Spider-Man. He might have to go down a category, but I really like him, so this is where I put him. If you're not as big of a fan of him though, feel free to put him down 1 rang. After that, we've got Zombie Juggernaut, Red Hulk, Ultron is an iffy one for me, and Archangel is niche at best, but he could still have a home up here. And then in the don't spend resources category on them, we've got Zombie Iron Man, not because he's bad, just because we don't need diamonds on him. And then Ultimus because no, absolutely not. All right, if you want to see how much each one of those characters actually costs for Dark Diamond or Dark Promotional credits, I'll have a chart right here that's honestly probably going to be a little bit too small to read. But if you head over to my Discord, the link will be there. The chart will be there. You can save it to your phone or your computer, whatever it is you use. I will mention this is made by Updog, so make sure you give that guy a like or a follow on one of his platforms. He does amazing work and really good stuff behind the scenes. If you like to have like charts like this, he's responsible for like the Storm Watch and stuff like that. So make sure you go give him a like and a follow if you enjoy that chart. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving this a like. And did you find it useful? If so, hit subscribe so you can see when more content like this comes out. We record videos live over at twitch.tv/The Mongooli Show Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So come on over, say hello, hit that follow button so you know when we go live. Other than that, Commanders, I hope you're safe, I hope you're well, and until next time, good luck to you.